Welcome back to GamePoint Sports. I'm in Goodnight, and this is Sebo. What's up with you, man? How you doing? How you doing on this fantastic Friday, man?
Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here, with a chance to make a difference. So I appreciate tonight, today, and everything about this particular Friday. Shout out to you all the fans.
Shout out to everybody. Hey, here on the AHRRR Network, we like you to like, share, comment, repeat, retweet, and do it all again. We back on the attack, man, like Mike Tyson in an airplane seat, man.
Yeah, we're gonna start. You just gonna get going like that?
Hey, shit. Hey, Mike Tyson, I've been watching this man fight for most of my life.
Okay, so hold on. I don't know if we got any footage on that we're gonna cut to, but I mean, if for those of you all who've already seen it, which obviously it's been taking up a lot of, our social media today. Clearly, they show one clip where they kind of just have Tyson leaning over the seat, just giving this dude, taking this dude's lunch money and stuff. But there's actually, a clip if you see it, which is like kind of goes out like a minute, where you just show the dude in the back. He was he seemed like he was thizzing, he was tripping, he just kept jumping over the back of the seat for Tyson. He was giving him a hard time.
Hey, giving Tyson the business.
Well, what I would say is that there's only a couple things in life that you don't want to spend a lot of time doing, and one is stupid shit, and two is fucking with Tyson, man. Like on all levels. Like the kid, he ain't rap like that.
Nah, never been.
Never been.
Hey, never have, never will, as they say.
Yeah. So that young man, unfortunately, he went against the second rule of what you don't do, and that's mess with Tyson. And I think, but I honestly like to say that this might be a situation where Tyson don't really see a lot of like backlash on this. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody who's been watching this as of late has been like, yo, there's only so much you're gonna take, with somebody invading your space.
Hey, man, Tyson took more than I probably would have took. He definitely took more than I would have took, and that's just based on him being Mike Tyson.
I mean, but at the end of the day, he just got punched on, man. Like, I think life is full of those kind of lessons, and I think for him, clearly he's not in his right state of mind, and from what I understand from the report I last read, that he wasn't trying to press charges. I think he just needed to get some medical assistance, man. You had them Tyson Fifth Ward B's definitely.
He dropped him.
You want to get that looked at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If he jumping on top of your head like that, you want to get that looked at by a professional. But outside of that, he wasn't trying to file no charges.
He kind of knew what he did, man. He probably wanted it to happen, man. My partner just got beat up by Mike Tyson. I just got beat up by Mike Tyson. It was kind of Chris.
So you're saying it was kind of like. So you saying dude did it like as almost like. It was an honor for him to get beat up by Mike Tyson. Do you think it was something like where amongst his friends, he get points for that?
Yeah, because sometimes people do crazy shit. And you see his boy was kind of like laughing. He was egging him on, or he's kind of egging him on. And I mean, I think, I mean, when you have a child. And they see how far they can take you. And I think that's just what happened, man. You just see how far he could take where was Mike Tyson's breaking point?
Well, I think Mike Tyson in this analogy is like a hot stove. And you could tell, a little kid a lot of times, like, don't touch the stove, it's hot, right?
Yeah.
And until they actually touch the stove and identify that it's hot, it's just that life lesson that they always revert back. You can always fall back on that, like, man, I remember that one time when I was like 2 or 3 or when I was in my early 20s and, I either touched the stove or I just kept egging this dude Tyson. Because there's a lot of Tyson-type mentalities. Now, obviously, you got some handwork that's different than, the average American. But in general, there's a lot of, Mike Tyson type of personalities out there that'll really kind of let you know if you're doing a little too much.
Oh, shit. Some of these guys, when they let it go that far, the only reason why it went that far is because it was Mike Tyson.
Now, you don't want to break it up.
And
like, I used to do security at Bernard's. I'd never grab winners. If I ever grabbed you at Bernard's, shout out to Bernard's, and y'all who remember that spot, man. If I ever grabbed you in a fight and I pulled you away from somebody, you was losing. to the naked eye, you was losing. I'm not saying what you felt like you was doing, but to the naked eye, you know, it didn't look like you was faring so well. So, you know, I would say in the same aspect, these are you know, stewardess and stuff, man. They here to push a cart up and down, and you ain't trying to grab on Tyson when he ain't all the way where he need to be at. You gotta let him get that out of his system, man. You know, he gonna turn back around like he did and just sit back down. He just need to get out of his system. I let him work out.
I'm not gonna. I definitely wouldn't step in.
I'm gonna let him work out, man.
I definitely want to step in. I don't want no parts of an accidental Tyson hit. You know, I mean, and you could say that Tyson probably took it easy on. He took it easy.
He took it easy on him
because Mike Tyson definitely much harder than that.
Like Tyson has documented footage of him biting people, man. Like he'll chew on you. Like he could have dove over the seat and started chewing on my man. Like, you know, it could have got out of hand. So if you just took a couple Fifth Ward B's from Tyson on a flight, that's almost like an autograph.
Man, hey,
like he signed his face.
You're right. You're right. But
shout out to Tyson for signing faces.
And also shout out to Tyson, man. And here in Colorado, we do represent 420 week. We are the original 420 week, and it was 420 week, 420 on Wednesday. So shouts out to all the people and all the festivities, all the concerts and everything that's going on, making it the best 420 in the country, I believe.
Yes,
and
without a doubt.
And as far as the cannabis line goes, Mike Tyson was on his way. He was on his way to a cannabis conference, I believe, in Florida somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, he had to get off that flight, caught the next flight, and wait. Next thing you know, he's on the stage with Rick Ross, and I believe who else was he on the stage with?
Smoking,
just chilling, being Mike Tyson,
probably eating edibles and everything, man. But listen, I actually had, you know, Tyson. Shout out to Tyson, man. He was out here in Aurora last month. He came out to one of the little head shops out there, man, pushing his line. That's his baby right now. And, you know, clearly with that being his primary focus, you're going to have people like that. But they said Tyson. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think Tyson should get security and just leave it all alone? Just take on the extra cost of security.
I don't.
But when she gets on her bike, she becomes rebel.
I don't know what's going on, man. Look at Dylan White and some other shit.
Somebody trying to like share.
Hey, you know, last time we did get hacked with each other here. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, comment, read. But we was talking about
playing with them off-sites, off-brand sites.
Yeah, we was talking about you
on Napster. LimeWire. No, LimeWire used to shut your whole system down. Listen, you got 10 songs in a new computer.
You might not come back. You know what I'm saying?
LimeWire gets you 10 songs in a new computer.
You download a whole. I can't even remember what they were called. Like the whole catalog.
Yeah, they had the catalog file, and it was slow. But man, listen, you come back to your computer, and it just had like everything on it. It looked like
nothing worked.
Yeah, like your computer was doing acid.
You couldn't X out of nothing. You could do nothing.
You got 10 songs, so you know whatever you're gonna do with them 10 songs on the laptop, you can no longer play. But yeah, that was some days.
But back to Tyson, right? They said he was with an entourage, so I know Tyson probably has.
There was no entourage on the footage I seen. Nobody stepped in, but dude sitting next to old dude.
He's first class. I don't know where, because his wife was there.
I didn't see his wife.
His wife was on one of his youngest kid was on the plane.
I didn't see his youngest child.
So I didn't see him either, but they were there. So he had an entourage.
So a better question is not should Mike Tyson have security? Can Mike Tyson deflect any issue to his security? Do you think he's in a mental space where he can just be able to be like, hey, you know, security step in and handle that, or do you think he's always going to be his own security?
I definitely believe that. Shoot, he was in the right space at that moment. Dude just went on too far. Like, he didn't stop.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, your security, if they sit next to you on the plane, they immediately going to have dude checked out.
He must have put them guys in coach.
Nah,
and they didn't know what happened.
Then you can't have no security. That's like, nah. Security got to be ready to pounce.
Where are they though? You know what I'm saying?
That's not security. That's what I'm saying. Like, can Mike Tyson have? I don't think Mike Tyson has security. Because every now and then, if you been following Mike Tyson through his career, he'll lump somebody up every now and then, like coming out of a restaurant or, you know what I'm saying, at an event. You know, he might just grab you up. He might throw you around a little bit. Nothing too crazy. But with this era, with everybody having social media and camera phones, I think you can kind of see it a little bit better. But Tyson, historically, he'll grab you up.
All right. Build and Grow says, what a moron. Why would you post asleep? Why would you post asleep in... Oh... Why would you wake a sleeping bear, maybe?
Poke the bear.
We're
going to go with that.
Why would you poke the sleeping bear? He deserves everything he got. He better not have filed charges. That would have been bogus. And Johnny Doe says Tyson went ham.
Look, you can't say that's ham until Tyson like start eating on your face or chewing on some kind of like extremity on you. That's light work. You could Tyson can accidentally hit you 10 times before he catch himself. Like
before he realize what happened.
Before he can hit you 10. He give you a quick little, the 10-piece lemon pepper all flats. He can give you that real quick.
Yeah, he can take you. Hey, he will. Then be like, oh shit.
Yeah, that ain't too bad. You know what I'm saying? I think he was well within, and not only that, but the whole time dude was wilding out on him. He just kept staring forward, which is the most dangerous ever. If you ever see a dude quiet when you're really upset or really animated, that's usually the dude that you don't want to, at least stay in, close proximity.
You might want to leave that. You just probably want to leave that guy.
You could leave him alone, but you at least want to. You don't want to be in his close proximity because the quiet ones usually that's the foster kids. Like Tyson is a foster kid. I don't like when foster kids get angry. I try to at least identify that and then at least get them enough space to really kind of heal.
You definitely can't be in a box with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't mess with no foster kids like that, man. And shout out to the foster kids out there. I'm not saying like I don't want to hang out with you, but if you get upset and you a foster kid, I definitely want to give you a space because. Foster kids, they got a lot of stress on them, man. Yeah. Like, waiting outside with your backpack and your parents don't show up, that'll stress you out, man.
Hey, man, hey, shit. You ain't got stress. You don't have to be a foster parent to feel that type of pain.
Yeah, man.
You don't have to be a foster parent.
Man, I see some foster kids tear up some shit.
Many dads.
Shout out to all the foster kids.
Many dads have never showed up, man. Many dads have never shown up. I'm on my way, son.
With the backpack and the teddy bear and all the lights look the same when they drive up, but it ain't them. Why don't you come in and get something to eat, baby?
Yeah. No, I know my dad's coming.
And he kept telling you about to get you like one of them game consoles.
You waiting on the new shit.
Oh, you got a controller in your backpack.
You waiting on the new shit. You waiting on the new shit. Then you wonder why the kid went to school on Monday and kicked somebody's ass.
All you fathers out there, man, pick your kid up when you say you're gonna pick him up, man. I'm not talking about literally when you pick him up, man. Go bring him to the crib, man, with the game console. Take them to the game. Send them over to the park. Don't be messing with them because them kids is violent. Once they get about 12. Them kids you kept forgetting to pick up be violent, man. And shout out to all the kids who didn't get forgot.
And that hatred, boy, runs deep and it runs long. It runs deep and it runs long.
We have got sidelined. Look, we're gonna send some numbers on here for any counseling, man. Please,
hey, man. I might be the first that needs to take I need some mental. I need a mental.
So the segue on that is speaking of Tyson. What about this Tyson Fury fight coming up tomorrow? Who's watching that fight?
Everybody in London.
It's one of them.
Everybody in London.
That's where all our black actors is at.
That's where all our nice black actors are at. That's where all the the nice black heavyweights are back out in London.
I think Tyson Fury got like 1-2 more fights left in it.
This is his last fight. He's ending it.
He did put that out there and said it's official. Yeah, because the heavyweights ain't really doing too much right now. And he done got such a bag off of your boy. What's his name again?
Deontay.
Yeah, Deontay done gave, and Lord Jesus, he done.
Deontay, he's really
where's Deontay at? Is he done?
Nah, he's still fighting, man. He's still fighting.
His demons or people?
Both. But this guy Dylan White, man, looked like he might be a formidable opponent, man. He looked pretty swole out there. He looked like he ready though.
I don't buy it. Yeah, until I see them dudes throwing some hay, I don't buy it. Tyson Fury's tested.
Tyson Fury's one of them guys, he looks like one of those guys that just drinks a lot of beer.
No, he's one of them dudes that's your worst nightmare, where you fighting him and you still on, and you give him a clean one and you drop him and then he get back up.
You belt him.
That's the worst one to fight. Like, shout out to all my Latinos out there. Like, the Latinos got a strong chin, man. Like, you could, man, listen. And I'm not saying, and I don't condone violence, so I'm not saying this is like allegedly, but if you allegedly got off on one of them, like, they pop right back up, man. They just don't just take it, man. And man, he got like that Latino jaw, man. So shout out to all the Latinos, man, in your jaw. But like, he's one of them, man. For him to be that big, man, you definitely don't want to do that big, man, where you done gave him your everything.
Your eyes, the look on your
everything.
The look on your face is gonna be like, what?
I done gave him my everything. And then he just, like the Undertaker, he just open his eyes and roll over and get back up. Like, come on, man.
Walk right through it.
Come on.
Walk right through it. I mean, as far as boxing, man, and heavyweight, you spoke on heavyweights.
Yeah.
Who was the last great heavyweight in your opinion?
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox, in which he wasn't on the top 10 list that we seen last week.
He was not. If we're talking about heavyweights, Lennox Lewis, he had a little breakdown for a second, and some dude that caught him slipping on the chin, but he came back, and then the dude quit and started crying before he went back out on the ring. But otherwise, Lennox Lewis was doing a lot of damage before he had stepped away. And I mean, I'm not saying he's the greatest. I'm just saying the last one, if that's the answer.
No, that's the question. Last great heavyweight.
Yeah, because Lennox Lewis, he outperformed Tyson, and Tyson was on the slide. He was on that sugar heavy during that time, and he was nibbling on ears. Lennox just kind of went through and just started cleaning them up.
Because when we were younger, like when you were the heavyweight champion, like you were like the biggest person in the world, a sports figure in the world, basically. When you were the heavyweight champion, people all across the world knew you. The heavyweight championship doesn't carry that luster anymore. Like, and it's a sad thing, because when a good heavyweight fight is one of the best fights that you're gonna see.
Which is that heavy. Well, I will say this. You got Javante, who has been. These dudes is like. Have you ever seen Mayweather in person?
I haven't seen Mayweather.
Okay, well, like these dudes is like the TV and the cameras definitely kind of make them look bigger. I've seen Mayweather several times, especially out in Vegas, man. I've seen him several times. Like, he looked like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, I literally seen, like, if you ever seen, like he looked like a 12-year-old with $12 million worth of jewelry. So, like, the jewelry gonna stand out because he glistening with all that on his neck and on his wrist. But he definitely built like a 12-year-old. And I would definitely say that I did not expect to see some of the best fights coming from these 12-year-old built dudes, man. But they legit have been really holding boxing down, because I've had issues. If anybody's been following me on Facebook, you'd know I've had some issues with boxing for at least the last 10, 15 years.
What are your major issues in?
It's just the judging on it. Honestly, it's like, who is that judge? Like, you don't get enough. Like, who is that? Who's judge number 3? Like, how did you score that? Right?
That definitely is the worst.
The UFC put it out there where you at least seen dudes just kind of like squab it out or have submissions, or they would really get into it. But when it came to the boxing, these judges, I just don't think they put enough into the judge. Like, who is that though? I'm not saying they don't have an opinion, and I'm not saying they're not right or wrong. But who is that? Can we see their record?
What are your qualifications to become a judge? Like, what do you have to do to be like, I'm going to be a judge? And how do you get?
And it'd be so lopsided. Like, you have one that scored, like, this judge said this, and that, plus this. And then you got another judge that have the complete opposite. Like, y'all can't be sitting 2 feet from each other and see the complete opposite fight. That's all I'm saying is, like, no sports, even in baseball now, they're starting to have, like, digital signs called, because they're trying to get an accurate game, in basketball, football, we have instant replay, right? We have time, they actually go underneath the tent in the booth, and they look at the play, and they're trying to get this the most accurate.
They're trying to take the
professional sports that we can using the technology that we have.
Yeah,
why isn't boxing following along with that? Because
definitely trying to take the human error out. I mean, human error out of it, and definitely boxing already has they already have something in place that can work for that. You know, you got the structure that they use for like the Olympics and things like that. You know, like with the punch meter, you like and all those type of things. So. Like you could tell where he got punched, who punched the hardest. You could tell.
Yeah, I mean, and they have that at the end of the fight. So it's like, man, when you see something like that, when they give you the punch, you know, the CompuStats and stuff, and they get at the end of it, and they show you like their punch totals, and they be like, yeah, this person had 50%, 60%, you know, punch rate, and they off of 1,200, you know, punches thrown. Yeah. But then this judge seen it like they were down by like 6 points at the end of it. Like, well, what are you watching now?
We're watching a completely different fight.
Like, let's just get a camera on the judges.
You never see the judges either.
Never see them. Like, let's get a camera on them. Let's open that up. Let's bring that to the people and let them have a camera or something that actually says, hey, look, we seeing what they're looking at, how they score it. You know, why not? Let's get some transparency in it.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I mean, I just wanted to hear what your problem with boxing is, because it's not. I mean, it's not even just to you. Like, I think most people feel that way because the judging is horrendous. The human error, the favoritism, the paid off judges, whatever's going on is definitely corrupted. It's a corrupt system and a corrupt sport, like to where you really don't even want to watch and put your trust in it, because you can actually see somebody get worked all over the ring and still lose the fight. I mean, still win the fight.
One of the judges. It'd be like just one, you know, rogue judge will just be in there like, yeah, I seen it the complete opposite way. And it's like, I'm just, what fight are you watching?
What did you see?
But I will say this, you know, there is some things that in boxing that are pretty definitive. I obviously get knocked out, and I would say, you know, damage that doesn't allow you to continue. And to segue off of that, I think that Earl Spence fight, he broke that young man's face. He was older. He was an older guy, older gentleman, but he broke his face. And I think, from what I understand, you guys could chime in on that, but I think what is that?
That orbital bone.
That is disappointing.
I mean, he looks like the black version of the Elephant Man at that point.
No, he didn't put that silly putty on his face. Like, man, they silly putty your eye, man. You just, you know, that's a tough.
Like, he won't, like, he has his eye open wide right now. Like, it's open wide.
Ain't that disappointing? That's disappointing, man. Like, if your eye is completely open and it look closed, that's disappointing.
That hurts. That hurts. And I heard he had like some broken ribs along with that. Like, I heard Spence gave him the business.
Well, I mean, we were trying to watch it. Had a little trouble with my app, but you know, we're looking into that. Allegedly, you know, we had some apps that fell for us during the fight. But I mean, overall, I would like to, you know, I would just say that's again, that's somebody's signature. Like, if you got to wake up to that, like, that ain't going nowhere.
Man, it's going. How long you think that's gonna hurt? Be painful?
That's 90 days.
Shit.
That's 90 days, because they got to go in there, do surgery, reset his face. You know, you got to reset. That's that silly putty, man. You know, when you got the silly putty to face, man, that's going to take you that's going to cost you a summer.
Ice packs and
that's going to cost you a summer. Yeah, he is not going to have a hot boy summer with that thing, man.
Nah, man.
And he ain't got no facial hair. Like, that's when you need a nice beard to kind of throw you off. Yeah. You need one of them,
you need your beard to come all the way.
Yeah, you need one of them to let it come all the way up to the top.
Yeah, man. Yeah. My man Ugas, man, shout out, though, for being a soldier, man. You took
and he been through a lot.
Yeah,
actually, he has a story. If you actually look up his story, that man has actually gone through a lot to get back out on the in the big ring and the big stage to fight. But you know,
I got a question for you. So, if you were a boxer,
okay,
would you have that much pride, knowing that you're losing, knowing that there's probably hardly slim to nothing that you're gonna win and come back in this fight?
Okay,
are you gonna be like, you have that pride to where? Are you gonna have that pride to where I'm gonna keep going? Or are you going to be like, man, I'm done with that? It's not a good night.
Well, first off, if you've made a commitment to make a living out of either punching or getting punched in the face, then clearly you just have to have a good and open communication with your team. and you're not supposed to throw in your own white flag or your own white towel, right? And so if you do go out there and they see something like this, what I will say is I'll be upset if y'all let my whole orbital bone get all beat up and y'all still send up to like, you got him, champ.
What are you doing in there?
Like, come on, man. My orbit bone is like I
got another rod. You can see him.
Nah,
move.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta just check the team, and if you got a good team, they're not looking for just this fight as what defines you. You know what I'm saying? You want to give them a good run at it, but you know if somebody done, like if I could smell my own eye, man, it's time to get out of here. Like you don't know, nobody know what their eyes smell like. You know what your eyes smell like?
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. So if you know what your eyes smell like, you're in a bad way, man. And I think you should have a team out there that's looking for your best interest. And Deontay Wilder, and when his team threw in the flag on that first fight, threw the towel in on him, he was like, man, start firing his team, got a whole new team. Yeah. But you don't want to see what happened to him in the second fight. Like, at a certain point, it's just boxing, man. But, there shouldn't be no reason. My only thing, and I actually seen that with
I just won't get up off the
Michael Allstott. Have you seen him? Have you heard him talk recently? The fullback, for Tampa Bay. Yeah. No. Have you seen him talk recently?
No.
Like it didn't sound so good. It didn't sound so good. It sounded like he had some cognitive issues.
I don't doubt it. He was like a battleground for a year.
And it's for fans that forget about you, man. They keep an old jersey, in the garage or something, or they got a new fan. Like, tell me right now, how many times when you go out right now and are you a Broncos fan?
I'm a Broncos fan.
You are a Broncos fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a day that you have gone out in the streets and you've seen more than one Terrell Davis jersey. You don't see him. Keep it a buck. Y'all, hey, listen, y'all post, like, comment, put something in there, and you tell me a day that y'all done been out in these streets where this man has given you guys the most coveted award that any franchise in the National Football League could have, with migraines and just 2,000 yards and everything. How come you don't see people wearing?
But on Sundays, they wearing them.
I don't think so, man. Like, listen, I need proof. Anybody who's got a Terrell Davis jersey that has worn it outside in the last year, comment on here right now.
Here in the AHRRR Network, we'd like you to like, share, comment, repeat, retweet. But yeah, definitely comment to what he's saying, because I beg to differ, because not on an everyday basis, but on a Sunday.
Football Sunday,
there's a lot of Terrell Davis joints.
Yeah, but that should be like fresh joints, like new joints. Old ones. Like, I still, I got a Barry Sanders Thanksgiving throwback joint. And he ain't played in 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should get a fresh one. Like, you see fresh Terrell Davis jersey, or you see the one where it's coming all off and it's kind of like it's falling apart.
The 30, you can't tell if it's an 80. And
I mean, if they've done enough for your franchise, you could just keep getting a new joint. Look, my family on my father's side is from Cleveland. I can tell you right now, everybody, there ain't no grown man in Cleveland over the age of 25 who don't have NBA championship 2016 hat somewhere. And they get a new one every couple of years. They go back and be like, nah, I just need the 2016 joint, NBA championship. They got jacket. They don't stop.
Well, I mean, that's all they're going to ever have, So,
wow.
So it's just like, okay, yeah, you can't keep getting a new one. When you're coming from a sports town like Colorado,
and one of your most storied franchises was the Buffalo, the Colorado Buffaloes, CU.
Yeah.
Because y'all was up there for like 4 times when it came to the Super Bowls, and y'all didn't get it done. So, I mean, it's a sports town.
We did win.
You did win. I was there.
We did win. Mikhail. I'm about to say it. That's dumb. Mikhail Knight says vintage jersey better than new one.
Yeah, but if it's coming apart, man, get you update, get you upgrade. It ain't nothing. That's cool. Just get you a new little joint. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. I would take the vintage joint and I'll put it up, especially like if you don't have them sign it, or you had it on during the time they won the Super Bowl. I'll put that joint up, put it in the garage, put it in the basement or something, put it in a little man cave, and then just copy you a fresh one. What running back has been more impactful to the Broncos than Terrell Davis?
No one, nobody.
So you can copy a new one every couple of years.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody gonna be like, yeah, that's trash because of this new running back. No.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
But you ain't got no. You got Terrell Davis?
I don't wear jerseys. I'm not a jersey wearer.
I did. Fabulous had me wearing all kinds of jerseys, man. I was over there.
I was never a jersey. I never
early 2000s. I was over there tearing.
That was never part of my trend with big jerseys. I mean,
shout out to Damien. He was our jersey plug. Any y'all that know about that know about. Now he rich and retired, but shout out to Damien, man. He's jerseys pumping out of his trunk. So humble beginnings.
Man,
he got it done.
I guess the days of jerseys and Jordans and all kind of things coming out of trunks is over, huh? Internet.
People say they outside, but people ain't even outside like that no more. I mean, we was hanging out pretty tough during them time frames, man. Like right now, everybody online, everybody on the internet 3.0. They got Oculus. They got
life is short.
You can copy some jerseys inside of the meta world.
So
Spence Crawford.
Yeah, let's talk about the Spence Crawford real quick. Who would you take in this fight that may have? I mean, they're talking about it may have. You're going with Crawford. You're going with the Nebraska kid.
Yeah, he's serious.
You're going with the Midwest.
Yeah,
is that the illest nigga in Nebraska?
He is. Yeah, I mean, have you ever been in Nebraska?
Man, I hear Omaha's tough, man.
It has to be tough.
I haven't been there, but I've heard a lot.
Like if you woke up and went to sleep in Nebraska for 7 days in a row, you would be irritated. So if you grew up out there, you are guaranteed irritated. You are most likely to be.
I think Omaha.
Less friendly.
Have you been to Omaha?
I think just to like throw trash or something. Like I don't know if I went out there for anything recreational.
Mikhail says, man, Spence, you tripping. He said, that boy's a dog.
He is. He is a dog. I will give him that. He literally broke somebody's face, but I just think when it comes down to what Crawford, his body of work, he is definitely showing you that he's I mean, it's what we need to see. So, I mean, he could be right, I could be right.
I mean, we just want to see it. He says no young fighter can see Spence.
I mean, is he saying that Crawford's young?
I mean, he's
okay.
I mean,
we might need to get a little bit more insight on that. Keep chiming in.
But what I will say is that Spence to be doing that, I think it's his first fight after that accident. To be doing that after his first fight after the accident, man, and he still probably got ring rust, and now.
You saying he could be even better by the time he had to fight somebody else? I want to see it like this year. I do not want this to be no shenanigans that play out like Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, where you let all the politics make it just kind of where by the time they fight, it just ain't where it need to be at. They need to fight it by the end of this year.
So the question Mikhail asked, who do you got? Gervonta Davis, ain't that Tank? Gervonta Davis,
yeah,
and or Devin, whoever you fighting.
Ain't nobody seeing Gervonta right now.
You don't think nobody's seeing Gervonta?
Nah, in that weight class, nah. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Hey man, the talk is good though. They talking.
Leave him alone. Like that. That's one of them dudes right now. I would say that his body work. He's about the closest thing. Like, and I'm telling you, he's another one of them little guys. Like, if somebody Google it, I bet he's like 5'4", 5'3". Like he's like he's one of them dangerous 12-year-olds. He's got that foster kid strength. Leave him alone.
Tank is a bad man.
Yeah, leave him alone.
Tank is a bad man, and I'm gonna go with Tank just because I know about him a little bit more.
Yeah, no, he's not like right now. I think he's got to run for at least the next year or two, where I just don't really see somebody, really even.
Boxers, man. Boxers just don't. Boxing is just not the same anymore. Like
as opposed to what?
As far as everybody.
What era do you feel like was the best era in boxing?
The best era that I've seen was
like, give me a decade. So let's just say like the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Late 80s, early
80s.
90s. So let's say 85, 95.
So you got like, now you just talking about all boxing. So you got Roy Jones, you got obviously Tyson, Lennox is in there. You got James Toney. You got Holyfield. Even George Foreman was in that area, in that space. You got We had a young guy out here from Colorado, man. He was out there moving around too. What's his name?
Oh, you talking about
Yeah, shout out to him.
You talking about Stevie Johnson?
Stevie Johnson will square up with you too, man. He'll fight out here. I mean, there's a couple of incidents, man, where somebody kept. I don't know why y'all keep playing with these boxers. Like y'all don't like a lot of. Listen to what I'm saying. Like a lot of you all have like anger management issues, but that doesn't mean you know how to fight. And you have to be able to separate the two, because you have anger management issues and then go out there like, man, I want to fight, and then like, you know, really have somebody who's a professional or who is a technician when it comes to either moving, slipping punches, or countering, and just really make a mess of you out on the side of a club somewhere.
This is what they do for a living. And it's quick. It's quick work. It's quick work.
I don't understand that. Like, you just need to be able to, like, you know, address your hurt. Like, you need a counselor. You do not need to be out here. You don't, like, this is what I'm saying. If you ain't been in at least 10 fights, and I'm not talking about 10 fights your whole life. They have to be 10 fights within 5 years. If you're not in that kind of space, I really feel like, you know, your conflict management skills should be better than that. Use your words, man. You can talk about it. You don't always have to fight, because this is what happens. You get lumped up and you go out there, and then these young men be out here trying to kill people, and it's like, man, that's selfish, man. You can't not train, get beat up, not address, you know, mental health, and then be out here trying to kill people, because at the end of the day, that you have not done anything that has you out here using your outside voice.
Devin Mikael Knight says Haney would give him a good run though with his defense. He got good defense. He's talking about the Javante Haney fight. He said Haney has good defense. Johnny Doe said James Toney was underrated. Jason Scott says Tyson was trying to get some good jabs on that plane.
There he was.
All the above. James Toney may have been. I think James Toney right where he was though. Like where he needed to be.
James Toney, if you guys follow boxing, James Toney was just he was not your favorite opponent, man. Like, he didn't really like he had anger management issues with training. He was just a real tough dude. You could just really punch on him. He didn't really like, his head was like a little thumb and stuff. He was just a tough opponent. And there's fighters out there right now that'll tell you one of my toughest fights was against James Toney.
Oh yeah.
He was just a tough dude, man.
He's with the business.
And Roy Jones, before he had he ran into Antonio Carver. That's who it was.
Carver.
Yeah, he was special. He brought like hip hop to the game, because, you know, he would have the rappers come out there. Like, he was one of the first ones to really start doing that. Like, for real. Like, when it was bringing out.
Big Mike Tyson was doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson, you know,
came to the ring.
Did he bring Tupac out?
I think he brought Pac out one time.
If he did bring Tupac out, then it's
But let me say, before we get off the boxing, let's. I don't want to talk about the greats.
Okay.
But I want to know, other than like the obvious greats, like who was one underrated boxer that you that you love to watch? Like, I want to see his fight.
Any weight class?
Any weight class. And I want y'all to chime in too out there. Like, let's not go with the greats. Let's go to some good boxers. And I have mine ready.
The Executioner, man. He's a tough dude.
He's a great though.
I mean,
he's definitely a great, but I mean,
it's hard not to be
underrated. He is underrated.
This is what I'm saying. It's hard not to say that there was somebody I like watching that was not.
I would say Felix Trinidad for mine.
Really, but he was a great. Felix Trinidad was a great. Yeah, he's a great. Yeah, he's a great. He's got some. What's the green-eyed dude who almost slid Mayweather?
The Sweet Pea?
Nah. Little hazel-eyed dude that almost slid Mayweather, man. With the little curly taper.
You talking about Mosley? Sugar Shane?
Yeah, I think that was him. He a little slow now too. That's what I'm telling you, man. Like, that is a horrible.
Hey.
Like, that's like somebody like, man, you want to get in the car accidents for a living?
Hey,
like, no. And these people really do. They be like, man, I'm the best person to get into a car accident. All right.
Mr. DG says Roy Jones was super dope in his early career. I'm that dude said Tyson fool, James Coney, and he said great.
Good. Hey, look, as much as we hate to admit it, man, like, I don't care where you at. If you see some people fighting out in the street, you're gonna stop and watch it. Seeing people fight is a lost art, man. Like, I think nowadays everybody's just like with so much, camera work and social media, they don't want to take those L's, get that posted on like World Star. Mm. But a good fight is therapeutic.
So I got a friend.
But don't be punching on me, man. I'll call the police.
I got a friend, man. I talked to him just before I got here. He's saying Sugar Shane, Charger Film says Sugar Shane Mosley, Sugar Ray Leonard. So just off topic. Before we go to basketball, I just want to segue into one thing. I got a friend who's on here, Jason Scott. I talked to him right before I got here. He says that he was in his apartment building.
Okay.
And he seen smoke or smelled smoke.
Okay.
Or heard the alarm. And he went and he kicked down the door and put out the fire.
Like, he a real life hero?
I would say, I would guess.
But was somebody in the house?
I don't know. He said it was too smoky. He had to get up out of there.
Hold on.
This is before the fire department finished putting it out and cleared it out. So I think I talked to him as it was still going on. So I don't know if anybody.
You was talking to him while he was
I didn't talk to him door? When the fire department came and said, you step out the way. This is for professionals. I think that's probably when I talked to him.
So you brought that up for a reason. What do you feel about that?
Would you do those? Would you make that type of effort?
I was a big fan of Outsiders, and Pony Boy. He went in there in the fire, and I always see myself as that character. I do, man. I be doing that kind of stuff, man. Like if I see somebody when I'm driving and they're like trying to push their car that's stalled out, like I be the dude that kind of like drive up, go out there, help them push. I'll like help give somebody a jump. I mean, I don't know about like, do I kick in doors for a fire? But like if somebody's like hanging out the window, like, ow, my back, I need to get out. I'm like that. I'm like that.
Ain't nothing wrong.
I'm like that.
I'm definitely not a kicking door down, but if I heard some screams.
Yeah, if you see somebody like, take my baby.
Yeah, if I heard
you gonna try to catch it?
Nah.
Yes, you are.
I mean, I'm gonna try,
if
but
they
man,
like, cause they're gonna drop the baby.
Yeah,
like, if it's something
but
like that, they're gonna be like, man, take my baby.
I'm gonna try, but that's a lot of responsibility.
I mean, all you do is break they fall. That's the only goal. You just gotta break they fall. Now, if I'm saying if you over like 150 pounds, like you can jump out the window. I'm not saying like I'll like catch you, but like I'll give you like a little shoulder shrug, like as soon as you get down there, because I just need to break your fall. So I just bow, like if you 250, I just bow, give you a shoulder shrug right where you right before you hit the ground, break your fall. But yeah, I would not just listen to somebody just like burn or something like that. Yeah. I don't think I got that in me. I definitely like. Are you saying are you a hero? Is that basically what you asking me?
Yeah. Where do your heroic theories or where does your heroicness stop?
Man,
where do you draw the line on being a hero?
I have tried to break up a situation between a dude and his female. And I regretted it.
I never step in those.
I wasn't necessarily trying to, but like it was back in the day, man. She had knocked on my door, and she was like, it was I'm not gonna say what nationality she was, but she wasn't speaking clear English, and she was like, help, I'm like, I don't know, man. I looked out the peephole for a while, and I'm like, I don't know, and I was just like, man, you know what? That's. I got a lot of daughters. I got daughters. I didn't have it at the time, but I at least had sisters. And I'm like, man, what's up? And I opened up the door, and she just kind of jumped into my house, in my little apartment. She just came in like, no, you have to close the door. I'm like, man, I don't think I might have bit off more than two. I was like just trying to ask you questions. She had dove in. And then dude came down, and he was really
agitated.
Yeah, he was, man. Like, he was he seemed like he wasn't in his right mind. And needless to say, it was a long night. There was a lot of weird shit that had to happen during that night. But my house got broken into like a month later, and I felt like it was part of that.
Yeah.
And the girl was with the dude again the next night. Yeah, by the next weekend, dude was at the house because he stayed over there. He didn't live there. He just be over there.
Yeah.
I was outside. He was outside like smoking a black or something. Man, you know, like the next weekend, and I'm out here. It was awkward. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't let your girl in the house try to save her, and you out here smoking a black on my, you know, out there in the front. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's the one thing that's tricky because you don't want to leave a damsel in distress, but you know, you never know what that looks like, and a lot of times, you know, in the heat of it, you know,
not 9 times out of 10 they're going back. Let's say Jason Scott, I believe he said Butterbean was one of his underrated guys. Cat Strangler 4000 says, would you return a bag of money? Before we get to that, answer that question, Build and Grow says they fitting to be burnt the fuck up. Jason Scott says he kicked in the door, put out a fire just 45 minutes ago. It'll be on the news tonight. And Cat Strangler says, hi, that was me. So, would you put out a fire? I mean, not put out a fire. Would you return a bag of money, found money?
There's so much to that, right? You know, like, what are we saying? Like, it just was just laying on the ground? Was it like, you know, did it fall off the back of a Brinks truck?
Hey, you just stumbled across the bag. I don't know. I mean, it's not in front of the bank, but it's somewhere.
Yeah, you know, that's another tricky thing too, because a lot of times, you know, they be having like them ink pellets in there. You open it up and blow your stuff up, or you got tracker in there or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like to say before anything happens that I'd always do the right thing. You know, time has often showed that sometimes I don't, but I like to believe before anything happens that I have the intentions to do the right thing every time, and then sometimes I don't.
I mean, everybody's intentions
in real life.
It's all what you see is right. Well, it's all what you feel is right, because we all might feel something right is different.
So you keeping the bag? Is it a stiff bag? Like it's got like bundles, like 10,000 little knots in there?
I'm gonna take the bag, keep the bag.
Like, have you ever seen any money blowing and you stepped on it and you just kind of stood there for a while till everybody kind of went by it? They kind of like went to bend down to tie your shoe and then picked up the money? One of y'all done pulled that trick before. Stop playing.
I mean, that's happened before. I haven't really done that, but you know what? I've had it done to me.
Somebody get you.
I mean, I've had it done to me because I'm the type of guy that used to take money out and throw it around and act a goddamn fool.
Shout out to throwing money around, taking it out. Did you make it rain?
I just make it rain in the park. I'll make it rain on the street. I mean, just for no reason. But you know, I'm trying to pick up all my money. Like I was like, oh, what a mistake.
Man, that's a light. I mean, listen,
what it needed.
You gotta, you know, it's okay, you know.
But as far as the bag, I'm gonna take the bag
and then do what with it?
I'm gonna contemplate it, may pray on it. I'm gonna keep the bag for a while. I'm gonna make a real informed decision at that point. I'm gonna make a real.
I'm gonna pray on it.
And then, you know, if I'm feeling a certain type of way, I may go ahead and take it back.
Take it to where though? Like,
I mean,
you can't leave it back on the sidewalk.
Turn it in, I guess. I don't know. Whatever you're supposed to do.
I mean, look, I'm gonna pick the bag up. You know what I'm saying? I might be in a rush and grab it. Maybe something fall out in my truck while I'm trying to, like, cause I'm in such a rush to get it to the authorities. I'm just like grabbing it, and then maybe something fall in the truck. I mean, you know, crazy things have happened. Like, I didn't know there was a bundle, you know, a little knot or two that fell out.
Bill and Gross says they'll return the money. They return the bag, but the money won't be in it. That's why you check the unlike. No Country. Oh, that's why you check the unlike No Country for Old Men, and that's one of my favorite movies.
That's a cold movie, and that was taking that bag been a lot.
Taking that bag was a problem.
That was a lot.
That was a problem. The question.
But you see what I'm saying? Like if a couple of them, a couple bundles fell out while you was trying to turn it in, he ain't chasing you for a couple of little wraps.
I was waiting for you to come get it.
I didn't check my car properly. I mean, he could have been in a truck, may not. But I don't think I need the whole thing. There was one thing that happened where somebody had an auction. They won in the auction one of those storage sites, and in there they had like a bag that had like like several million or something in this. It was something substantial.
Absurd.
Yeah, it was something absurd. And then they ended up settling where the people whose bag it was gave them like a certain amount of money, let's say like 50 grand or 100 grand, and then they turned the bag in. And then one of my peoples was like, nah, I'd have kept the whole thing. It was like, let's say 7 million or something crazy. Anybody that got cash of $7 million in a storage place, you may not have the same resources they do.
I understand that, but if you have $7 million in a storage place, why is your storage going up for auction?
But that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on with that situation. If I got like a little 100 bands out of that, and then I gave back their bread, that's respectable.
Yeah, that's cool. So would you expect money in return?
I mean, I would just be, I just have a conversation with them, like, man.
Or you be like, I'm turning in this money, man.
No, I just say, like, man, I understand that you guys lost you had a storage unit with money in it. How important is it to you? And then I just let them talk. They might say something I like, man, it's like $250,000 important to me. Really?
And I'll be like, how come you couldn't pay it?
I'm like, let's look into that, man. I might want to, because at the end of the day, I don't know, I just don't like too much free stuff, man. I don't like too much free stuff. I immediately start getting a little nervous. I'm one of them dudes.
You got to get leery. You got to get leery.
I'm one of them dudes. I don't like a lot of free stuff. Like, if you start giving me too much stuff, then that means I'm being targeted or marketed to, and I get a little nervous about that.
You get a lot of free stuff, people definitely put you on the hook. They definitely will try to put you on the hook.
I mean, I might take something off the top, a nice little finder's fee, but at the end of the day, I'll try to get them right. Listen. Let me get out your way.
If you lost money, would you expect somebody to return?
I would.
I mean, I don't trust that it would, but I have had wallets return.
Yeah.
Intact with money, and I've had.
Did you slide them something?
They sent it. They sent it in the mail.
Oh, okay. See, look, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really get into that because I think there's a lot of things inside of not just our community, but just in general, where it's like scammers are like popular people nowadays. Like, people who are fraudsters and stuff is like super popular and lit. Like, they just like, people are so excited. Like, yeah, they take people's debit cards and then they just flip them and then you just go over here and then you get their social security number. Like, I'm not necessarily impressed with that.
I'm not down with that.
I'm not necessarily.
I'm not down like that. A Charge of Film says a found bag full of money is called a blessing. Sweet Jesus 316 said they'll be pissed if I return a big bag of money and they didn't give me squat.
Now, like I said, I mean, I think a lot of great interactions start with great conversation, man. I just want to talk to them about it. Like, I understand that you had a bag in one of our storage units we recently acquired or procured. Was it something that was important to you? Like, yeah, man, I had a certain amount of money in it. It was my life savings. I had $7 million, huh? Like, yeah, and I mean, so it's probably important that you get it back, right? Yeah. And then we start talking about it, like, how important, man. And at some point, we got to get to a certain place where, I understand, how important it is to them. And sometimes there's a financial responsibility to that.
It's a tough thing. Like I say, I'm gonna keep the bag, contemplate and pray on it, man, figure it on out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make an informed decision.
I mean, I just don't like. It wasn't like a blessing. I would say is really being able to do what you love to do for a living. Right? Yeah, I think that's definitely a blessing. Like coming off on somebody else's money or hustling or scamming or fraud or defrauding companies and things of that nature. I don't know. I think those are hustles, and shout out to the hustlers out there if that's your thing. But ultimately, we all pay for that kind of stuff. And I mean,
karma does come back.
You don't want to be one of them people where your character's out of line.
Charge of Film said he lost his wallet, cash gone, but everything else was still there. They took their finder's fee.
They took it for you.
Yeah,
that's like that. Like when you get a tab from when you're at the restaurant or something, they hit you with that extra piece on there.
Yeah, here's 20%. Yeah, there's too many guys here. Too many guys here.
Yeah, what is that on there?
And then now I see that shit. If you get different tickets, they put the same shit on everybody's.
Everybody's
shit. Ain't that something? I probably tweet Jesus 316 said I'd probably he probably robbed them if he didn't get his finder's fee. Johnny Doe says, obviously, it wasn't important for you not to pay your storage with all that damn money in. And that's the same thing I go to.
I know.
In that situation.
But this is what I'm saying though. Like, it's
got,
not regular people who got $7 million in the storage.
You got $7 million in your storage.
It's not a regular person.
Why wouldn't you go to the storage?
It's not a regular person. I'm just telling you like this. Like, if you just understood how people, like, there's regular people out in the world. They go to work. They went to school. You know, they raise their family. You know, they have a bedtime. And there's people who got $7 million in a storage unit.
If you got $7 million storage,
if you want to all of a sudden be that, but this is what I'm saying. You said one of your favorite movies was No Country for Old Men, right?
Yeah.
And it was one guy that seen the opportunity and was like, man, you know, what do I do? I just take this money. And you don't really understand that, you know, with all that was going on about that money, regular people don't have money laying around.
You're right.
And I'm just saying, if you really trying to turn up
that money, I'm no longer a regular person. I'm in that life.
Yeah, I mean, you got the bread. I don't mean you in that life. Like, that life come with connections, resources, and, you know, definitely.
Before we get off of this, man, sweet Jesus says you're blocking your blessings if you don't return the bag.
There you
and
go.
I'm not confirming, denying, agreeing, nor disagreeing with it.
There you go.
Whatever you choose to do is what you do. I still don't know what I would do. I mean, it's gonna be a quick one, man. We're gonna talk about this NBA playoffs, man, and get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
And Cat Strangler 4000 says they agree with Jesus, with sweet Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but if you just are in a rush to get the money back to, like, the authorities and a couple of knots fall out of it, I mean, who could blame you for that? Like,
you taking your finder's fee.
Or it fell out while I was trying to turn the money in.
However it happens.
You know,
however,
it's a crazy world we live in. There's a lot of potholes.
Yeah.
I hit a pothole, boom, 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 something fell out of it. You know what? You know, eventually I got to clean my truck. Oh, look at this. Damn, I didn't even see that. It's too late now. You know, we got to just move on.
You can still take it to the same place you took the first bag.
I mean, but at that point now it looks funny.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna look funny too because they're gonna be like,
oh,
thanks for bringing it back, but it's not all here.
I was cleaning out the truck. I found it. I wasn't really sure, man. So I just.
All right, man. So we got the Golden State. And I mean, you talk about blocking blessings. You talk about losing the bag. You're talking about losing your team. Golden State is having the Nuggets lose. Everything right now. Like,
you got the hat on. How you feel about the hat? Does the hat feel good when you put it on this morning?
I'm supposed to wear it because I'm a Nuggets fan.
But did it feel good? Like, when you put it on, like, was you just like, it was like, yeah,
because and I'm a real Nuggets fan. But I'm probably one of the realest Nuggets fans, one of the most real and Nuggets fans, because I don't ever see the Nuggets ever winning a championship. Ever. I still like my team.
I mean, could you say Milwaukee fans seen Milwaukee winning the championship?
Everything felt right for them.
I believe that's sometimes what it takes. I mean, ultimately, this is my thing, is that the Nuggets is going to struggle until they have a leader who has a better handle of their emotional intelligence. And I would say right now the Joker is super talented, but you know, you can take him out of his game.
I'm that dude says the Nuggets suck.
Damn, that's how we're gonna start. I'm just saying, you can take him out of his game. He's not a vocal leader. Like, you see him making passes, but you don't see him huddling the team in like, hey, look, bring this here, do this. You know, you need that leader. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the talent of him, but, you know, defensively, he's not that. And leadership-wise, he has some development to do. But offensively, yes, he's great. It's just I would definitely think that the Nuggets would need another piece that's a leader, an actual established leader that's going to complement that.
Johnny Doe says Nuggets suck. He agrees with I'm that dude.
But you got to understand.
There's a lot of Nugget hate going on.
Yeah, but this is the thing, though. The NBA is wide open.
It is wide open.
This ain't your mom and dad's NBA. And you got teams, you know, like Memphis, and you got teams like Minnesota. And shout out to that series itself, because that's actually probably one of the ones I'm looking at the most. Mm-hmm. But you got teams like, you know, Toronto, who had a run at some point, Atlanta, who had a run at some point, Brooklyn, who had a run at some point. Ain't even won a game yet. So it's not the same NBA we've seen even as early as last year. These young dudes are like with Philly, you got Maxey out there, phenom. You have Minnesota having them young shooters and shit like Tyler Hansbrough. You got Boston with little light skin with
Tatum.
the curler. Yeah, Tatum. You got these young people in here. I mean, this young NBA that I think is primed and ready to take over.
Oh yeah,
and you can add the Nuggets to that. And
I mean, the Nuggets are there. I mean, they're close. Their best window was in the bubble. So far. Now we got these injuries. Like this year would have been another good year. The Nuggets would have been healthy.
mm-hmm.
I believe they would have went a little farther. Sweet Jesus says Nuggets can win a chip if they get Bradley Beal for MPJ and some pieces. The teams in the Western Conference will never be as bad as they were this year, and I'm in agreement with that. Like, we're gonna have to make a major move to be able to contend for a title, to get that alpha male athlete type leader that you're gonna need. That's gonna come in here and be that person that you say the Nuggets need. In the Western Conference, like, everybody's gonna be coming back.
So, speaking of the Western Conference, you got Phoenix. What's that series look like right now?
Phoenix and the Pelicans, they're tied 1-1.
Okay, so
with Booker out.
Booker's out though, and they said he might be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's the playoffs.
My man, Chris Paul is snake bitten when it comes to.
Yeah, we talked about that
when it comes to luck.
Chris Paul, yeah, he definitely has had one of them. And I think at this point, let's talk about Chris Paul this season. So whatever he's going to do, if it's not these playoffs, I mean, I just don't know at that point.
It's a wrap, man. I mean, it's a wrap. Chris Paul can only have so many chances, and it's just like every single time he was hurt, or I don't know if Harden got hurt, but I know he was hurt. Then they didn't let him go to the Lakers, and then what were they calling the Clippers?
I mean, I think he's added fantastic,
him or Blake was
veteran leadership to every team he's gone to. It's just unfortunate, like you said. I don't know if he literally, like, he went to teams that were contending for a championship until he went to Phoenix, and I don't necessarily.
Hold on.
What?
Houston was contending for a championship. When they had the Warriors down 3-1, Chris Paul got hurt, and the Warriors came back and beat Houston.
I might have to get some information on that, but I would say that contending for a championship means that you are in where the West is competing against the East in a 7-game series. That's competing for a championship.
At that time, it was all about the West.
I mean,
the West, you were winning.
But that's what I would consider competing for a championship when you're in the final.
Last 7 games. When you're in the conference finals and you're up, I believe it was 3-1 or 3-2, and Chris Paul gets hurt and you end up losing the series. You were
3-1. I think I might give 3-2. But what I will say is that maybe. But how many teams, if you even think about this, the Eastern Conference, like. The Heat,
all they had was wherever
the Knicks.
All they ever had was wherever LeBron for the past.
But what I'm saying is, like, how many times were they in the Eastern Conference Finals and they didn't do anything, and they never really were able to establish themselves as contending for a title? And I think I haven't seen the first time we seen Chris Paul contending for a title was last year, right?
As far as he got to the finals, but I believe the Rockets were.
Yeah, I don't think division. Championships is competing for.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, he's not. He didn't just start. Like, he's a 17-year, 18-year vet.
Sweet Jesus says Celtics Warriors in the finals. Charge Up Fields says I'm a native and I've never seen the Nuggets go to the finals. They always can develop a good team, but the moment they can't deliver, they are always dispersed of quickly. Nuggets never have time to develop chemistry. Cat Strangler 4000 says too many elder barges on Denver team.
Oh my gosh.
Cat Strangler 4000 also says CP3 please retire please. And Cat Strangler asked a question: would you trade Jokic for Luka or Steph Curry?
First off, those players are never going to be available within the next 5 years. Steph Curry at all ever. He's going to retire as a Warrior. Luka is going to at least be in Dallas. I don't know. I take that back because Luka. I think he wants to establish something, but Dallas is missing pieces. I think he could still be. I would definitely trade Luka for the Joker.
Now I would try to swing a trade to where I can get Luka and the Joker on the same team.
Yeah, but
I would do it more.
I see that, but
Porter.
Yeah, I would.
Any trade the Nuggets need to do, they need to throw in Barton. Any trade, just throw him in for free. We'll pay his salary. We got to get this guy out of here, man. Last night he was throwing up air. We down. He's throwing up air balls. I seen him hold the.
Hey man, look, he was ready to squab with Cousins, wasn't he?
Yeah. The dude, I seen the guy hold the ball for the whole 24-second clock and throw up a bad shot while the Joker had Klay Thompson pinned in the hole.
Yeah, but the Joker was, he's been getting locked up.
I mean, I don't know, 30-something points.
Green's been locking him up.
He locked him in the last game. He locked him up when it was time to lock him up. But as far as that last game, Jokic went off on that last game.
I mean, I think that was the closest thing to seeing that the Nuggets were competitive, and it's too bad that they play like that just at home and not in away games. But I definitely don't think that, with having a surprisingly healthy Warriors team, that they were in a position to really contend with them. But if you could see, it wasn't like there was another player they got going home. I think just being home, they play with a little bit more intensity. And I think if they'd have gave any one of those first two games that same level of intensity, who knows what it could have looked like coming back home? Because you got to wear teams down in the playoffs. Let's call it what it is. You don't get to just let teams just do what they did. I'm a Spurs fan. I'm going to tell you right now, if you let us play around with you, we're going to blow you out by 20 or 30. And, we ain't going to have a real competition until we got to, like, the division finals and stuff, right? We're just going to tear you up. And so I think that's part of it. When you have teams that are going to play you hard the whole playoffs and really wear you down, home or away, I think that's when you stand a chance. This is where you make and develop superstars.
Definitely. Me Not You says Luka over Jokic, and Me Not You says 21-0 run and no timeout is the worst. And I don't know if that happened. Probably could have happened in the Nuggets game, but I'm sure that happened in the Minnesota game.
Your coaches might potentially get fired. You know that, right?
Who, Malone?
Yeah.
He just signed a contract.
I don't know if that means that you're unfireable, though.
Like last week. I don't know. Spurs ain't beat nobody by 20 or 30, though.
Man, cut the game. Who said that?
I'm that dude.
Nah, man.
But, hey, that's the truth,
we blowing teams out, man.
Back in
you gotta check our resume, man. We got 5 titles, homie. This ain't no accident, man. But what do you mean?
Yeah, you guys do have.
Hold on, you think we got 5 titles, but winning every game by 2 points? Is that what happened? It was a lucky,
something like that, man. You guys did have the best coach, man. Without Steve Cox.
We was running motherfuckers out the gym. We had the best record in the NBA for 10 years.
Minnesota's coach out of there. I believe he's going to be out of there.
Why?
Because the things that are going on, Minnesota is up. And Memphis,
that was a nasty
Memphis goes on like a 20-something run, and they don't even call a timeout.
Well, I mean, there's definitely some coaching issues to that, but you also do take into consideration that that's a very young team, and I think outside of your boy Pat Bev, you have to learn how to win in these playoffs.
They're not that young.
They're not that old.
Karl Anthony Towns is not young.
How old is Karl? I bet you Cat's probably no older than 26 years old.
He's been in the league for a while.
It don't take much. You can come in at 18. I would say he's probably
D'Angelo Russell's not that young.
Yeah, but he don't have a beard that connect. So if your beard don't connect, you still consider young.
Let's go across to some of these series. So we just talked about the Nuggets done. They stick a fork in them. They're done.
Yep.
We were talking about the Pelicans, Suns series where I think, with the injury to Devin Booker, this could switch. With the injury to Devin Booker and the possibility of Zion coming back could really flip this series.
Well, I think this them winning the playing game and series and just kind of they have a lot of momentum on their side right now, and That's dangerous in the playoffs. Momentum is in the playoffs is everything.
Ingram, he's the truth. I like Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram's solid.
All right,
but they got McCollum.
CJ was that big. CJ was that big move.
McCollum was. I told people, and I don't think he's ever been an All-Star. Somebody check on that.
No, I don't think he.
I don't think he's ever been an All-Star. I'm gonna tell you right now, like playing next to, I think because he was over there with Dame. Dame time, you didn't really get a chance to see that. But man, let's be clear, like CJ McCollum is a headache.
Hey,
he's a tough matchup.
He's that guy who's going to bring that veteran presence, and he's going to be that guy he's going to be that locker room leader that the Pelicans need, and hopefully he brings it together because the Pelicans are a really young, talented team that I believe could be poised to do some things if they were fully healthy. So, but I'm still going to take the Pelicans. If Booker doesn't come back, I'm taking the Pelicans in the series. What about you?
I mean, I have no alliance to the Phoenix, and after they was like Phoenix in 4, once they did that, they did that shenanigans. I was just like, man, y'all gonna have to earn it at this point. And Booker got that thing. He messed with one of them Kardashians. That's always a jinx, man. Listen, as long as you got a Kardashian in your life, it's gonna be, things don't always seem to pan out right.
Put a Kardashian on your wrist or your whatever.
It gets weird.
It
gets weird.
Shit starts happening.
So that in itself made me kind of start leaning towards New Orleans. But I mean, ultimately, I would like to see that series looks fun right now, and I would definitely like to see how Phoenix responds by having one of their star players down.
And quick, the Kardashians is a curse, LOL. And one quick question before we go to the next series: should Zion stay now? You think he should stay?
I think he has still a lot to prove in New Orleans.
Okay, so let's talk about this Dallas-Utah series. Dallas is up 2-1.
Yes, they are.
Without Luka, and Luka I think he should be coming back this next game.
I think, who do I think should take it? I think Dallas. Yeah. This is a time where I think Luka, you're going to have to play hurt. This is the playoffs. You got to play. There's none of that. You got to have somebody hands you your own limb in the playoffs because I truly believe this is where stars are born, and you play through certain things. And I mean, I know that sounds in this day and age where, everybody's so sensitive about, mental health and everything else. Yeah, you have to have some testicular fortitude, and you just got to lay it on the line. Now, if they carry you out the game, it is what it is. But
Sweet 16 says sit Luka a couple more games. I agree. Sit him a couple more games. It looks like you're going to handle the Jazz just fine. The Jazz are a team that's breaking down.
But don't let Mitchell get hot. Don't let them dudes start warming up.
I think Mitchell is checked out. Mitchell is checked out, and he's on his way to New York.
I mean, Utah's a tough place to wake up and go to sleep to every night.
I think Mitchell is on his way to New York. I think he's checked out. He doesn't want to play with Rudy Gobert
but anymore. New York fans are
Rudy Gobert gave everybody COVID. The relationship has been jacked ever since. Golden State, Denver. We just talked about that. Memphis, Minnesota.
My favorite series.
I wanted Minnesota to win this, but it looks like the coaching and the mistakes in this is gonna be the downfall of them. So I got to ride with Memphis in the series, but I was really looking forward to Minnesota.
I would say right now that's my favorite series so far.
Not mine.
Yeah, I would. I like the New Orleans Phoenix thing, but with Ja and Edwards and Bane, and there's just so much young, potential superstar talent in that series. Cat's in there. You got a lot of things. D'Angelo's in there. That's a fun series, man. Like that, to be honest with you, especially in the market too, Memphis and Minnesota, like these are like, these aren't big market teams and stuff. So, you really just have them. I'm always a sucker for a small market team. Shout out to the Spurs. I'm always a sucker for a small market team. There's too much glam and glitz. It just starts getting kind of like, the winning. What's the name of that series you watching?
Winning Time.
Winning Time. I don't want all that, man.
I tell you, they got Jerry West. They got him pegged like.
He was hot. I think Jerry West said he was hot. He didn't like the way he was depicted.
Oh, he want them to retract that, man. He want them to retract that. Retract it now. Me Not You says he. I agree with the plaid shirt guy.
Oh,
that's me. And then, so we got the Miami Atlanta series. Miami leading 2-0. I think Miami right now is just a little bit too much for Trae Young and those guys.
I don't think that on paper it didn't look like that. And Trae Young be talking snap, like he be in there, in your face. He's waving bye to your fans. He's taking a little bump to the shoulder and keeping it pushing with a little flex. This was a great series for him to show up. I'm not saying it's over, but them being down at the time anyway, Miami being up 2-0. Miami, and I said this to you when we first started talking about basketball on this series, Miami is a team that nobody's in a rush to play, man.
Yeah, you said that.
You're not in a rush to play them.
And you stuck to that. And we're going to see. Miami's there. I
don't say it's over for Atlanta, but this is a great opportunity, Trey. And
it's over. I believe it's over.
Is it Capella? Is that his name, big dude?
Clint Capella, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is still an opportunity for some of y'all to you can rally 2 down, 2-0.
No, you can rally, but I just think Miami's a little bit too much. And Trae Young, speaking of Trae Young, he is the only old-looking, light-skinned guy that I've really seen. Like, he looks older than he is.
He got baby hair all the way through his head though. Like most people just got baby hair like right here. He got baby hair back here and right here. That unfortunately does age you a little bit, but I think he gonna be all right. He remind me of Doug Christie. He's like the second coming of Doug Christie. He just got baby hair all from the front to the back, man.
Christie was lucky nice though. You put the clamps on you.
Man, so I mean, I think that I like Atlanta and I like what they did, especially from last year and that momentum and just really setting that pace. But I'm telling you, it was unfortunate that they had to match up with Miami in the first round because they did play in the play-in, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and they played Cleveland, but it's like once you get past that and get to the real teams, you got Miami who's nobody wants to play them. I literally have Miami going to the Eastern Conference Finals and winning it.
Oh, that's big news.
And winning it.
You heard it here. They're going to the finals. You got them going all the way to the finals.
They just a tough team. I had Chicago from last year, but I mean that's a tough prediction to hold on to that for a year and a half.
We got an update. I guess the Hawks won. That's what the Hawks won. That's what Trae Young is dope.
Look, that's what I'm saying.
That's like you says, man. Thanks for chiming in and letting us know what's going on.
For sure, I definitely believe that. You getting 2 in Miami, and then you come back and play yours here, going back to Atlanta, and I think it's still some momentum in there. This is the series that would define what Trae's up. If he's about that life, this is the one because Miami's a tough team. Now we've clearly seen them break down, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so there's that opportunity for them, but. They're a tough team. And if this is Trae's about that life, this is the series that's going to define his career. I'm like that with it.
Agree. I don't think it's a career defining.
This is the playoffs.
I mean, but he's so young in his career that like he can have a chance to.
I think people just assume that you're going to be in the playoffs and be in contention your whole career, and it don't always be like that.
No, you're definitely right. I don't think it's make or break for his career. I agree with everything you say, but except that is.
I just think it's a definitely a pivotal place for his career. We'll say that.
We got Philly and Toronto.
It's a wrap. Philly's out of there.
Toronto's too hurt. Yeah, Philly's up 3-0. Embiid's trying to solidify this MVP, which should have already been voted on. Which it probably something going on in the under right now. You got Jokic down 0-3. You got Embiid up 3-0. It's.
I mean, but like I brought up before when we talked about potential MVPs, and I was saying who was hot and moving up in that ranking. I said it was Tatum, right? And I was like, if you still see it now, even looking at where Tatum and how because Boston was in a bad place mid before the All-Star break, right? Definitely. And coming out of All-Star break and really creating that momentum, Tatum was like he's giving you 50 pieces, man. Like he was.
Boston was in a bad place until the first of the year. After the first of the year is when they went on there.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, he been giving these boys 50 pieces, 40 pieces.
I can't knock Tatum. Man.
Like
he's a guy who trained with Kobe and
I mean, I think legitimately he should definitely have more momentum in the MVP run, but I just don't think nobody even cares about it. I think it's one of those things that you talk about till it happens and then you think it's bogus and you move on. It's like the season finale of a good show that you watch. As much as you like the show or that series, the season finale always lets you down.
The anticipation,
because you be like, oh, the season finale is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be like that. And every time you have I'm almost willing to step out on a limb right now, on a ledge right now. I'll say every great series that I've watched had a horrible season finale, and that's right about what that's right about what the MVP race looks like. Because it's like, okay, you get all hyped up and be like, well, this person and that person sell this, and this is why, and now that, and then somebody get it, you just be like, oh, whatever. What about these playoffs though?
That's the truth. That's the truth.
What about these playoffs?
I mean, we got a couple more series. Sweet Jesus says Trae Young or Luka, who won the trade?
Nobody lost.
No losers in that trade.
Nobody lost.
I would go.
A good deal. Everybody should feel like they got screwed.
I think nobody's a loser in that trade.
Yeah, I mean, so not screwed. I'm being a little aggressive.
But I would say that Dallas got the better player.
I mean,
I think Luka is a potential MVP candidate. I don't know about
nobody cares about MVP though.
I mean, but
it's a season finale to a great series. Nobody cares.
You're right. It's a regular season
Who
award.
is going to be able to?
Nobody cares.
Who's going to push their team through the playoffs? And I'm telling you right now,
nobody cares about a regular season.
In a good deal, both parties should feel like they lost something or they didn't get the best deal. If you both feel like you didn't get the best deal, then it was a good deal.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, I agree. So we got two more series. We got Milwaukee, Chicago. Chicago was a team that you were high on early in the season.
Started up.
Are you still high on them, or? I
mean, injuries played a factor for sure. But again, that's another one of those tough seedings when they got to play Milwaukee.
But you got to look at Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's out.
I did see that.
So
the series is tied up. Like that particular series is wide open.
Chicago, I got Chicago going to pull this one out.
There you go.
I think that Chris Middleton was just like a huge injury. That's their second leading scorer.
Yeah, Chris Middleton's huge.
He's that guy, and they got the point guard out there, but I don't think.
And Rosen gets off.
DeMar
gets off.
Hey, he got that mid-range game. It's hard to explain that these young kids don't want to stay. They don't want to.
I mean, he's tasted game winners in his career. He understands big moments.
He went to you guys, and you guys almost demolished his career.
He was depressed, man. He came over to us all depressed, man. We need people with high energy. He was depressed. He did not like seeing his best friend win a championship in Toronto, and he over there was.
Devin White left y'all. He's in a better situation. Or is it Devin White? White, yeah, he left y'all. He's in a better situation.
White got gout.
Oh God, yeah. Don't hate on my man. Williams and Cat Strangler 4000 said Williams and Simmons additions might change the series. And we talking about the Nets. We're talking about the Nets. That's the last one. We're talking about Boston and Brooklyn. And
this is my thing, and I'm not to cut you off on that, but just real quick on the Ben Simmons things. There's a certain point that you can bring somebody in and they can actually cause more damage than good. Because there's a chemistry thing, and if you try to do that and start that in the middle of the playoffs, there's some risk in that.
I mean, there definitely is some risk, but I think he's not gonna. It's not gonna change you offensively. Where his biggest attribute is gonna become defensively
and rebounds.
When you can put a big body on Tatum, or you could put a big body on Brown. We already know he's gonna be looking to pass the ball to either Kyrie or
yeah, but because of how much pressure they put on that young man going over there like that, there's going to be a couple times where teams are going to start sagging off of him, playing help side defense on him. And does he take the shot, or does he just sit there at the top of it, just looking for? You got to take the shot.
Hey, you got to
in Brooklyn. You got to take the shot.
You got to take the shot.
No, you got to take the shot
because it's going to be wide. Because it's going to be wide open.
They're going to play off you until
or-
they show that you can make that
or
shot.
you just go to the hole and
Get fouled.
get
Take the
fouled,
foul.
and then you don't want to take those shots either. But
I'm about to say that hasn't played out so
But
well for them.
but I think I mean you got Durant, you got Kyrie over there, man, two bona fide scorers. But I just think that Steve Nash needs to go also, because even when they hired Steve Nash as a coach, they said they didn't really need a coach, and now this is starting to you can see this, that Steve Nash is really not coaching over there. Like, he's not really doing, it's isolation ball. It's either give it to Durant or give it to Kyrie.
I mean,
There's no
ultimately, the players are going to be the ones who are going to determine that. I mean, let's be honest. When Spoelstra was out there in Miami and you had Dwayne Wade and LeBron, do you really think Spoelstra was dialing in, like, championship plays? Like, all right, guys, get in here. We're going to run the. No, they're like, man, look.
He may have
ISO LeBron, ISO Wade.
No, he called a few plays, good out of bounds plays, good plays out of timeouts that he called. I'm not gonna say he was the coach of the. I mean, I know LeBron probably had a big. All of them had a big.
I mean, he was an unproven coach, and I will say this,
but he's still coaching right now. So
and that team is primed for a good run in the playoffs.
So I think Spoelstra did his thing. I think Spoelstra did his thing.
I think that he gained a lot of experience coaching those unique players.
Yeah, he definitely did. But Boston's coach, is his name Udoka or something like that?
No, don't quote me on that.
Sweet Jesus says that monkey in Boston can coach. Damn. I don't know why you gotta be all of that.
Damn. Who said that? If he Black American,
Sweet Jesus 316.
I'm about to look you up, man.
Yeah, I would hope so, but I think that's gonna be the downfall, that Boston is gonna outcoach a two-time MVP in Steve Nash.
I mean, that don't mean that translates to coaching.
You're right, because I've seen Magic Johnson,
Magic,
coach.
Larry, Isaiah.
Larry was okay though. I mean, Larry had the Pacers
per
playing.
What?
He had the Pacers playing.
Playing what?
Shit, they was when they
conference final basketball, NBA final basketball.
See, that's what happens. That's what happens when
nobody. This is all this is.
That's what happens when you become a Spurs fan. Now, I don't even want to ask you how you became a Spurs fan. Now you're like, oh, we got these titles, we got this. So it's either championship or bust. The conference finals.
We getting scraped right now. We made it to the playing game, but we getting scraped.
Hold on, the conference finals is nothing. It's all about championships. You're not a contender, and this is what happens. I mean, when you become a fan of a team, a successful team, like the Spurs.
So let's start at the beginning. So the Admiral, when I was a military brat, I was on base. We had housing in Hawaii, and we had a rec center there. He was one of the first NBA players that I actually seen in person, man. And I was like maybe 11 or 12 years old. And, look, can I just tell you, you have not seen, like, I don't know, have you ever seen Admiral up close?
I haven't seen that.
You ain't seen a human being like that. The man is built in certain ways, man. Like, he had like 3% body fat and was 7'1", man. I had to at least take a step back and really understand what I just ran into. And then I got a chance to watch him play, man. I said, you know what? That's when most of us became fans. Like, if you tell me you're a fan of your team earlier than 10 years old, I have issues with believing that. I think you might have been a fan of your dad's team or your uncle's team, something like that. But to really get into the game, I say it's after like 10, 11, 12 years old. That's about when it is. And I just happened to see him run into me, and they didn't even have a championship. So I was liking the team before they even won nothing. I was liking the Spurs when they had Rodman at the end of the game.
Hold on.
What would you want me to tell you? We've had the best players.
So you didn't they win one without Duncan?
They won one right before Duncan. Is that a problem?
No. The Spurs are a team.
No, we won our first one with Duncan.
Duncan played with Sean Elliott.
Oh man, Sean Elliott. Shout out to Sean Elliott, man. That was my corner three guy.
Sean Elliott was nice.
Bowen. I don't want to.
Del Negro in there.
Ooh, look at him, man. Come on, man. That was my betting squad, man. I used to clean up with the Spurs,
let me talk about this Brooklyn ball.
Ginobili, Hall of Fame this year. Shout out to him
I used to call Ginobili the foreign Jordan.
Man, that dude run up your chest and dunk on you so hard.
Let's end on this Brooklyn Boston because to me that's the most exciting series. Brooklyn goes up every game. Boston walks them down at the end.
Why is it so exciting though?
It's just because it's been good games, and I mean it's intense.
It has been. I mean,
you got one of the best.
They have been.
You got one of the best scorers in history. They putting a body on him, and he doesn't know what to do, and his coach doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, pass the ball. That's the problem, and that's what he's never been good at. You know, he's just not good. If you're talking about
pass it to who?
Kyrie's on that team too.
Kyrie took that day off.
Okay, so let's say he do. You need to put up 40, my guy. You're the best shooter in the game. We need a 40 piece from you. All flats.
They playing physical. He don't know, but that's when
you can't. I don't care how physical you play him. Listen, if he is healthy, you cannot block his shot and you can't stop him unless Father Time done caught up with him.
No, I don't think so. I just think he hasn't had to play this physical game, and his coach is not putting him in good situations. Like there's ways to.
There's no other threats. Who else do you worry about on that team other than the two of them? And if one of them is out, and then as a team, who would I focus on?
I mean, they do have that one shooter, but I think he's hurt because I haven't seen.
I don't know about that. But I'm just saying, I think as a team, I would key in on him. Of course, I'm going to double team him. Of course, but unless somebody else is able to establish some kind of alternative to those 1 and 2 punch,
which is supposed to be Kyrie. I mean, he's supposed to be. But the thing about it is, there's ways that you can coach around that.
There's only so much you can do if you have one star on the team.
You
seen that? Hold on, but if you said he wasn't playing that game, so I'm like, you seen LeBron take on the Golden State in the finals when you had Love hurt, you had who else was hurt? Basically, it was just him. And he gave you 30, he averaged 35 the whole series. So I'm saying if they're going to be able to, if Durant is supposed to be that, don't be that when you have 3 other, options on the team that are on the court. I need you to be that when ain't nobody else on the court. You need to average 35, 8, and 10.
I mean, he's usually been that guy. He just,
35, 8,
and 10. They stopping him right now. But I'm still gonna pick Brooklyn to win it all. I'm picking Brooklyn to win it all.
They come back home. So I mean, I think the game's on tonight, is it?
Yeah, check mine. I got Brooklyn, Golden State in the finals.
I do think I said Brooklyn early. But, I mean, Boston is just really showing that they want to be here. This is where these young players, and I continue to say it, man, I don't care what they did during the regular season, man. You can be magical come the playoffs. You just got to want it more than the teams that you play for, the best out of 7, man.
Mr. DG says, what's up with Sour White Jesus? Oh, I didn't think he's talking about Sweet Jesus on the comment line
with the monkey joint.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes we, it's Friday, man. He already pre-gaming. Shout out, as a matter of fact, I appreciate y'all chiming in. With us on a Friday night. You could be anywhere, man, and y'all took the time to be here with us, so that's important.
Hey, that's big, because here at the AHRRR Network, we are not just for the people.
We are the people.
Are the people.
Scurvy and all.
But check it out, man. That's our Friday night, man. I mean, that's our Friday night, man. So we probably see y'all in about 2 weeks, man. We may have a surprise guest or something going on.
Okay.
We just gonna keep it on moving, man. Game points, man, on the bigger and better things and holding it down. But here in the AHRRR Network, we like to like, share, comment, repeat, retweet, and do it all again every single time. Say what you want to say for.
Hey man, listen. As always, it's been a pleasure. I enjoy being able to come out here and talk with you guys and interact. So you all being able to chime in is what actually makes this show. Let's continue to grow the brand, man. And I mean, as long as you all are willing to sit down with us, we're willing to sit down with you. And I think that's important for all of us to kind of play our part in this, man. Because I mean, ultimately, we are you all's voices. You can clearly hear that you guys say something, and we want to make sure we put it out there. And obviously, we want to give it to you all without a lot of the fluff, man. Because I know sometimes when you talk sports, you got a bunch of people who are just going to rattle off stats, that don't mean nothing about what's going to end up being and what's going to happen. So, having and hearing you all's opinion is what this is all about. Real quick before we wrap it up, man, I know we haven't really talked about the NFL, but what about them playing 3 games on Christmas? Is that a factor? Do you care about that or not?
I do care because I want to see how it's going to coexist with the NBA and their 5 games that day.
There's a whole lot of sports going on Christmas.
I guess that's all. Hey, no presents. I'll just watch sports.
That is a present.
Hey, because all I might is
Their presence is a gift.
Yeah. For sure, I'll take that. But I mean, shouts out to the NFL, man. I just always thought that was the NBA's day, and I didn't think nobody would.
I mean, I will say this is that for us as fans and enthusiasts of the sports, I mean, obviously we want them to play on all the big moments, but I always do because I've had some partners who play. Who've played professional sports. I mean, they do have families, and they, definitely. Sometimes, it's a little challenging because they do want to kind of keep you as a muse to just be, bojangling on all the holidays when you can be with your family. Do we need 3 games? I don't know, but I think, they get paid hefty, and it's usually the teams who are moving around anyway. So, I mean, if your team's trash, you don't have to worry about playing on Christmas.
Hey, and that's definitely for sure. But, I want to see it. Yeah, hey, you get paid the big bucks, man. You got to work on Christmas, man.
Speaking of which, when we had the game, they've been on over there in Boston. They was on Kyrie's helmet, man. The fans. I feel like the fans haven't changed. I think the microphones have changed. I feel like fans have always been kind of, with the trash talking and the shenanigans. But I think these new microphones be picking up everything. Because, I be hearing stuff. Literally, it looked like the players is just turning around just talking to people in, the 5th and 10th row.
They be on there in the new, you're right, the new microphones.
I think it's microphones and not the actual fans.
I mean, we got a couple more comments. And then, but have you watched what comments on the USFL?
I haven't watched one game. I've seen some highlights, and I've seen a coach who ended up letting a player go for eating something other than a chicken salad, which I thought was just really childish.
Dude said it's going to be a problem. The guy said, yes, you're fired.
Yeah, I think it's childish because they don't really make no money, and ultimately they don't really have no ratings right now. So that coach who has had Super Bowls, so I mean he's won Super Bowls, but that's not what that league needs. That league needs everybody's eyes on it, and I think ultimately doing something like that really kind of puts a black eye on it early. Just have people watch it. Relax.
For sure. Man, speaking of comments, man, Sweet Jesus 316 says, you monkeys do a good show. Sweet Jesus 316 says, also, monkey see, monkey do, I guess. And also ends it with, have a sense of humor, fellas. Great show. Shout out to Sweet Jesus. You did have some good questions. The monkey comments, hey, I'm a rock with it, man.
You good?
I'm a rock with it.
That's
man.
fair.
I hope you are. He said also though, you know what I'm saying? I hope
hey
so.
Man, listen. I mean, he spent his Friday with us, man. He has the right to say whatever he wants.
Say what he want, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Come out, Yeah, we appreciate it.
We got to get up out of here. So at the AHRRR Network, we like it to like, share, comment, repeat, retweet, and do it again. And check it out. Here at the AHRRR Network, we are just not for the people.
We are the people.
Are the people. And we out. Have a fun Friday.